The Stefon Diggs story just took a turn that changes everything about how this situation gets resolved, and the drumbeat of social media hints, agent conversations, insider reports, and public declarations from Diggs' own teammates has now reached a level that is genuinely impossible to ignore. Because here is the update that changes the entire conversation. The NFL has closed its review of the personal conduct matter involving Diggs and his former chef, and the league found insufficient evidence to support a finding of a policy violation. Diggs is cleared. He is not facing a suspension. He is not restricted in any way from signing with a team. He is a free agent wide receiver with a 1,000-yard season on his resume who is officially available to play professional football in 2026 without any league-imposed obstacles standing in the way. And the social media trail he has been leaving for the past several weeks makes it abundantly clear where he wants to play. Let us go through every piece of the breadcrumb trail Diggs has been dropping, because when you line them all up in sequence, the picture that emerges is of a player who has made up his mind and is doing everything short of showing up at One Bills Drive uninvited to make his intentions known. It started a few weeks ago when Diggs posted a full highlight clip of his time with the Bills on his secondary Instagram account, captioning it with thoughts about getting back into the number 14 jersey he wore in Buffalo. That alone was notable. But then a Bills fan account posted a highlight reel imagining the reunion of Diggs with Josh Allen and DJ Moore in the new Buffalo offense. Diggs liked that post. Not a follow. Not a comment. A direct, deliberate like that told anyone paying attention exactly how he feels about the idea. Then he commented on Dion Dawkins' Instagram page with clapping emojis. And Dawkins, the starting left tackle who has been one of the most vocal and enthusiastic members of the Bills' offensive line for years, responded directly. He told Diggs it was time to come home, brother. The starting left tackle of the Buffalo Bills publicly calling out his former teammate to return. That is not a casual social media exchange. That is a player with insider knowledge of what is being discussed in the building communicating something real through a public channel. When Dawkins says it is time, he does not say that without having some sense of whether the organization is open to that conversation. And now with the NFL investigation officially closed and Diggs cleared of any policy violations, the final obstacle that was keeping teams at arm's distance has been removed. There is nothing standing between Stefon Diggs and a signed contract with an NFL team other than the right phone call and the right number. The question that Bills Mafia has been asking all offseason, which is whether that phone call comes from Brandon Beane to Diggs' agent, just became significantly more relevant and significantly more imminent. But let us also engage honestly with the skeptical side of this conversation, because the Bills insiders who cover this team every single day are not all in on the reunion. Matt Perino, whose access to and understanding of the Bills organization is as strong as any reporter covering this team, went on record raising real questions about the fit. He pointed out that Diggs, at this stage of his career, would primarily operate in the slot for whatever team he signs with. And the slot in Buffalo already has one of the best players in the AFC occupying it. Khalil Shakir is not a placeholder. He is a legitimate difference maker who has built genuine chemistry with Josh Allen over multiple seasons and who has established himself as one of the most efficient slot receivers in the league. If Diggs comes in and takes Shakir's snaps, you are taking away a proven contributor from a player who has earned his role. If Diggs comes in and plays outside, you are asking a 30-year-old receiver with injury history to do something that is not really his strength at this point in his career. Perino also made a point that landed with genuine weight. He said that if Josh Allen truly wanted Stefon Diggs back in a Bills uniform, Diggs would already be signed. The implication is clear. Allen has enough organizational influence and enough star power that if he made a phone call to Beane and said, "Bring Diggs back," that conversation would happen immediately. The fact that Diggs is still unsigned while training camp is 6 weeks away suggests that the quarterback's enthusiasm for the reunion is either more measured than the fan base assumes or being weighed carefully against the football realities of fitting him into a depth chart that, already, has DJ Moore, Shakir, Keon Coleman, Josh Palmer, Skylar Bell, and the developmental pieces competing for roles. Brandon Beane did speak with Diggs' agent, and the fact that those conversations happened is confirmed. Jeremy White of WGR reported it directly. But the details of what was discussed remain vague, and Beane's track record in these situations suggests he is doing his due diligence rather than aggressively pursuing a deal. The agent represents both Diggs and Josh Palmer, which means every conversation Beane has with that agent about Palmer's injury recovery and his role in the offense this season potentially also touches the Diggs question, at least tangentially. Whether that creates an opening for a deal to materialize or simply means the topic has been raised and politely set aside is the piece of information nobody outside that negotiation currently has. The honest football assessment of where Diggs fits on this roster in 2026 is complicated. At his best, Diggs was one of the most technically refined route runners in the NFL. A player who could get open against any coverage and who served as Allen's primary safety blanket and most trusted target during the most productive seasons of both their careers. From 2020 to 2022, this was one of the most dynamic quarterback-receiver combinations in the entire league. But Diggs will turn 32 before the start of the regular season. He played in only 8 games during the 2024 season with Houston due to a hamstring injury. He rebounded to post 1,000 yards last year with the Patriots, which is genuinely impressive given the circumstances around that offense and that team. But the question of how much is left in the tank, how healthy his body truly is at this point, and whether the relationship between him and Allen can be rebuilt after the public and complicated departure from Buffalo in 2024 are all legitimate concerns. The receiver room as currently constructed is not elite at every level, but it has the pieces for a functional and dangerous offense. Moore as the clear number 1 brings the separation ability and the varied route tree that this offense has been missing. Shakir in the slot is elite. Palmer returns to health as a reliable outside option if the injury situation resolves cleanly. Coleman has one more chance to show the coaching staff that the talent they drafted in the second round can translate into consistent NFL production. Skylar Bell is the developmental piece with upside. Tom Jack is fighting for a depth spot with legitimate potential. Adding Diggs to that room would represent an upgrade in experience and in pedigree, but it would also create a roster crunch and a role definition challenge that requires careful management. Now let us move to the other major roster developments coming out of the Bills minicamp period, because there is real news happening beyond the Diggs speculation that deserves serious attention. Jude Bowie finally signed his 4-year rookie contract with the Bills, becoming the last member of the 2026 draft class to agree to terms. Bowie was a 4th-round pick out of Boston College who protected the blind side for most of his college career, but there are reports suggesting the Bills may want to evaluate him at a guard position given the offensive line's current needs. Losing Ryan Vandermark to the Vikings this offseason was a genuine blow to the tackle depth chart. Vandermark had established himself as one of the better swing tackles in the league, and the Vikings made him one of the highest-paid swing tackles in the NFL to take him away from Buffalo. Without him, the Bills are rolling into training camp with tackle depth that includes Chase Lunt, Tyler Grable, and Drew Bauer potentially moving to guard. That is not a particularly inspiring list when you remember that Deion Dawkins and Spencer Brown have both missed significant time to injuries in previous seasons. Bowie brings experience against legitimate college competition, which makes him the most credible backup tackle option currently on the roster, even if his immediate impact ceiling is limited. Deon Walker is the defensive player who deserves the most attention heading into training camp, because the developments around his body and his preparation are genuinely exciting for a Bills defense that is installing a new scheme under defensive coordinator Bobby Babich. Walker has slimmed down by approximately 10 pounds from his playing weight last season. And the reason that matters is precisely because of how the Bills plan to use him. Walker is going to be the starting nose tackle in Buffalo's 3-4 defensive scheme. A nose tackle who carries excess weight and can only hold the point against the run without generating pass rush is a functional but limited piece. A nose tackle who is lighter on his feet, more explosive off the snap, and capable of pushing the pocket from the interior is a different and more dangerous weapon. Walker showed real promise as a fourth-round pick in his rookie season, and the athletic profile he possesses is legitimately special for a player of his size and position. A leaner Walker entering year 2 in a scheme that is specifically designed to maximize his pass rush ability from the interior is a very compelling profile. The coaches clearly believe in him, and their trust in his development is visible in the way they are discussing his role. The Tyler Bass situation is the quiet concern that nobody in Bills Mafia particularly wants to acknowledge, but that deserves honest assessment. Bass has not been seen kicking at all during the spring offseason program. Not a single public session, not a single visible practice repetition in front of any media. He is the only kicker currently on the Bills roster. And Brandon Beane has specifically said the team's plan is to enter training camp with 2 kickers and 2 punters. 1 kicker in mid-June with training camp 6 weeks away, and not a single public update on the health or status of that 1 kicker is a situation that warrants at least measured concern. Bass has had a complicated history with the Bills fan base, including the missed field goal that played a significant role in a playoff loss. His numbers are serviceable without being elite, and the silence around his health this spring is the kind of silence that makes informed people slightly nervous rather than comfortable. The second kicker the Bills bring into training camp becomes a genuine competition, and depending on what Bass shows during camp, that competition might not be as one-sided as his veteran status would suggest. And then there is the beautiful, distinctly Buffalo question that Dion Dawkins raised on social media about the new Highmark Stadium opening this season. Does Mr. Brightside stay with the Bills as the victory song? For those who experienced the magic of that song blasting through the building after the comeback win over the Ravens in Week 1 last season, the answer should be self-evident. Some traditions are not traditions until they have been tested by the moments that matter most, and Mr. Brightside passed that test in the most dramatic fashion imaginable. Keep it. Build it into the identity of the new stadium from day one. Give Bills Mafia something to sing every single Sunday that wins are earned in that brand new building. Bills Mafia, you know what needs to happen in this comment section right now. S for sign or P for pass on Stefon Diggs. Make your case below and explain your reasoning, because this debate deserves real engagement from real fans who understand what this team is and what it needs. Do you think Tyler Bass is a long-term answer at kicker, or is training camp going to reveal that the position needs to be addressed? And what is your verdict on Mr. Brightside at Highmark Stadium? Drop everything you have got, hit that like button, and subscribe to the channel, because we are going to be right here when the Diggs news drops, and when training camp opens, and when the 2026 Bills season officially begins. Let's go Buffalo!